What's going on, everybody? Welcome to World's Finest, brought to you by the Comic Collectors Guild. I am your host. You guys know me as the Superman. My name is Jake, and joining me, as always, is Lee Lawson, the Batman himself. Lee, good day, sir. How are you?
Good day to you, sir. This is going to be a great episode because we are talking about my sidekick.
Yeah, exactly.
My many sidekicks I've had throughout the years.
Yes, this is the episode of Boy Wonders. We're repping appropriately with our Robin and Nightwing shirt, and we're going to be talking about all the Robins, and then talk about who we think the best Robin there has been. So this is going to be fun. Obviously, there's been some others, but we're going to stick to the main four, which are obviously Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and Damian Wayne. Obviously, we have like Carrie Kelly and some of the others, but these are the main four. And this is going to be really fun. They've been used in so many different ways. And I know this is both one of our favorite characters is Robin. So this is going to be really, really fun.
Yep, man. No matter who's carried the mantle, I've always had a favorite, or I've always leaned towards those guys. You know what I mean? Honestly, without these guys, I don't know if I'd even be a comic book fan. With Batman 66, that was a great way for me into comics. And I don't know if it would have been the same with just Batman. You know what I mean? The dynamic duo, you take them both.
Yeah, and it's crazy. He's really more than just a sidekick now. I view him just as you do. I mean, with the Titans, and he's been a little bit with Justice League mingling, and then just obviously with Batman in the standalone. He's a wreck, and he's one of the most important characters in all of DC. So this is going to be fun.
Agree 100%.
I think we're going to break this down starting with the OG Robin. I know that's your boy, and the floor is yours, sir.
All right, man. Yes, like you said, the OG Robin. We're talking about Dick Grayson, which we should give him a quick shout out. It's his 80th birthday this year.
There you go.
Because I say that because he was created in 1940. He made his first appearance in Detective Comics number 38, which was, I believe, about a year right after Batman. Yeah. And they actually made this character up as a way to get younger viewers or younger readers into the comics.
Yeah.
And he came in, and it was such an overwhelmingly positive response and great critical reception. They kept rolling with him. He actually doubled the sales of Batman titles.
Wow.
So, a little bit about him. He was an 8-year-old acrobat, of course, with the Flying Graysons. He was traveling around in the circus, living a very happy life, loved being a circus kid. But of course, where there's circuses, there's usually fire or terrible things that happen. Gangster named Boss Zuko was actually extorting money from the circus. They tried to say no more of that. So what he did was he actually killed Grayson's, Dick's parents, John and Mary, basically sabotaged their trapeze equipment, and they fell to their death. Fortunately for him, there was a young playboy in the audience, Bruce Wayne, who took him in and as his ward and decided to raise him not only as his ward in daylight as Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne, but then he actually brought him into his nightlife, which was obviously Batman and Robin. And of course, that's how they became the Caped Crusaders, dynamic duo. He was Robin for quite some time. He's actually one of the first characters, I think, to really age. He's one of the first characters that I've gone through. He's, as I said, he was an 8-year-old kid, when he was first introduced. Now he is I guess early 20s is how he's usually portrayed now. Robin for quite some time. Eventually, of course, he kind of grew outside of Batman's shadow and wanted to become his own hero. So that is where my man Nightwing came into play. He actually, his first appearance was in Teen Titans number 44. Robin, as Bruce Wayne's sidekick, or Batman's sidekick, definitely was a very popular character in its own right. So eventually, even before he became Nightwing, he kind of split off and was having his own adventures, and definitely was the leader of the new Teen Titans. So again, he made his first appearance there in Titans number 44, as I said. He actually got his name Nightwing due to there was adventures that he and Batman had with Superman in Kandor, which was the bottle city that Brainiac, one of the Kryptonian cities that Brainiac had taken over and had shrunk. And so Superman was keeping that the Fortress of Solitude. He encountered a superhero duo in that city named Flamebird and Nightwing. So I guess that kept with him. And so when he got his own identity, he did that as an homage to both, obviously Batman and Superman. Obviously, big
That's cool.
Big people in his life.
Yeah.
So I mean, he now, as Nightwing now, he's set up under Bloodhaven. That's where he is. That's his city, which is like a sister city of Gotham City. But like I said, this guy has been such an influential character. Without him, we wouldn't have Kid Flash, Wonder Girl, Aqualad, really any of those sidekicks that have grown into their own heroes in their own right. You know what I mean? A little fun fact about old Dick Grayson, too, is that he actually is usually often voted the hottest superhero. Hey, if you're into that kind of thing, man, you know what I mean? But yeah, he's usually voted as the hottest superhero out there. He's been known to date like Batgirl, Zatanna, Supergirl. He even hooked up with Sonya Zuko, who is the guy who killed his the guy who killed him. Yeah, Starfire, of course. Him and they have a great relationship, that's been portrayed through comics and animation as well. But yeah, dude, I've always liked Dick Grayson. He's fantastic hero. I love him and he's a great character, man, and that's why I think he deserves to have a little bit of a shout out.
There you go. Well, yeah, happy birthday to old Dick Grayson. He's really cool, and what's nice about him is he's definitely been more of like a mentor to the other Robins that are following, and he understands what it's like to be in Batman's shadow and be in their shoes, and he's been phenomenal. He's such a charismatic character in person in his own right, so I love him as well. That is going to move us into Robin number 2, who is definitely not Dick Grayson. We're talking about Jason Todd. Obviously, when Nightwing went on to do his thing, a lot of times these Batman writers, it's hard to write dialogue when Batman's solo. So having a Robin's very important. In comes Jason Todd. He debuted in 1983. It's kind of foreshadowing. He got caught stealing the wheels off the Batmobile. So this is a kid with some massive kahunas to try and pull that one off. And he was a kind of a crime-ridden kid, get into the wrong things. His heart was in the right place, but just was in a rough life. So Batman saw this, and in a different way of Dick Grayson, he was like, if I don't take this kid in and really show him the right way, he's going to go down a path that is not good. So he brings Jason in. He actually becomes Robin in Batman number 366, also in 1983. And he had quite a run with Batman. He is a lot more snarky and rebellious than Dick Grayson was. I think Batman obviously had some trouble reeling Jason in at times, and he liked to really push those limits. Well, the audience really didn't take to that. Obviously, Dick Grayson's such a beloved character. They didn't really like this new reckless Batman, and the writers of Batman ended up having this massive storyline called Death in the Family. They actually had you actually called in and voted whether Jason lives or dies. He gets basically taken by the Joker, beaten very bad with like a crowbar, and then the place explodes right before Batman arrives. And they voted for old Jason Todd to kick the bucket, and he died, which was, I mean, it was groundbreaking at the time when they said, he's basically dead. I think, as far as deaths go, besides maybe Superman, this was probably one of the most publicly talked about deaths in comic books at that point. You know what I mean? Because it was just like, Robin's dead? Like, no way. Well, sure enough, they bring him back, and they really, I think, did a really good job of improving him, because in 2005, we get Under the Red Hood, and Red Hood is born. And no other words to say, he's a badass. This guy is basically Batman with guns. He takes all of the knowledge he learned as Robin and kind of turned it on its head, and basically has crime by the neck. He's a little different than Batman is. If you really don't feel right, he's going to shoot you in the head. He's going to take you out. It's not just going to be a couple broken bones. You're actually going to be gone. And that's the way he viewed things. So obviously Batman realizes he's created this monster. Obviously, traumatically, it was a big impact on Batman, because he thought he had lost a soldier, a brother to him. And when he realized it's alive, it was a big shock for him. So it was really interesting, and one of the better storylines, I think, for Batman, that Death in the Family entered the Red Hood, which was so beautifully done in the animated film.
Yeah.
But Red Hood is kind of moved his way back towards the light. Basically, the way he came back is Ra's al Ghul felt really bad for basically the fortunate events that led to Jason's death, and used the Lazarus Pit on Jason. And when he came out, he was a little cuckoo for a little bit. The Lazarus Pit had a bad effect, and it messed with his mind. and he came out bad as Red Hood, and he was doing some damage. But as of late, he's kind of entered more into Bat family again, more on the side of good. He definitely has his moments where you see the anger and the violence and stuff, but a very interesting character, a total 180 from Dick Grayson, and that is Robin number 2. He's fascinating, and the popularity of Red Hood is skyrocketing. Even now. So
yeah,
very cool character.
No, he totally was a complete 180. Like you said, he was such a hothead. I think he was actually, if I'm not mistaken, shown with blonde hair when he was very first introduced. So it was a little bit of different for Robin, because ever since then they've all been, and he's now gone back to being a brunette like all the other Robins before, even after him. But no, he was definitely more in the line when he's as the Red Hood, more of like the Punisher type of hero, as he said. But no, he was awesome. And it was interesting to say that he was actually foreshadowed a little bit of his return during Hush. So no, very, very cool, man. Awesome. So all right, that brings us to number 3, Robin. We're talking about Tim Drake. Tim Drake was named after Tim Burton, actually. He made his introduction. Tim Burton, as we all know, was the director of the first 2 Batman movies, Batman and Batman Returns. He popped up in A Lonely Place for Dying. Batman number 436 in August 1989 was his first appearance as Jason, and then as Tim Drake, I should say, and then as Robin in number 442 on December 1989. So he actually was able to deduce on his own the fact that who exactly Batman and Robin were. Based, as you said, when Jason Todd died, Batman really took that internally, you know what I mean? Took it all in, and he became, he's always been dark, but he went to really, really, really dark places. I mean, it was pretty bad, actually. And so he was able to just deduce by seeing how Batman was behaving towards other, villains and things like that, that there was something wrong with him. That without Robin, Batman was not able to kind of keep the light shining, basically.
Right.
So he was able to actually go back. He identified exactly, uncovered that they were both Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne. He actually approached both of them, really approached Dick back in one of the episodes or one of the comics of Teen Titans, and said, "You've got to go back to being Robin." I mean, he was actually able to track him down and everything. He was like, "Batman needs you. Without you, he's sinking deep into the dark." Dick was actually taken aback that he was able to figure out who he was, of course. So that was pretty awesome. Again, he knew. He's always trying, and being able to do that. Batman realized that he's got, when he was able to figure out who he was, he knew that this guy was really talented. So he actually decided to take him under his wing and then create. That's where the third Robin came into play. He knows he's living up to a legacy left by Dick Grayson. He's always striving not to disappoint Bruce Wayne. He's more of a natural detective, as I said, than the previous Robins, because he was able that the first indication of that was obviously able to figure out who Batman and Bruce. They were the same guy. He's way more talented than them with computers, which allows him to really, stand in his own unique spotlight. So he's also, I would say, probably unlike his predecessors, though, he's not really the best fighter. He really takes to using a bow staff to kind of give him that edge the Batman and the other Robins really don't need. But he's always seeking to analyze a problem and to outthink his opponent. But he does show that he's got the ability to fight when necessary. Due to his fantastic detective skills, Ra's has actually addressed Tim as the detective, a title that he's usually only reserved for Bruce Wayne. So really, Tim has definitely come into his own in a lot of ways. Even Nightwing's very proud of his skills. Told Tim before that he's been a better Robin than he ever was. So that's Tim Drake, man, for you. I was a big fan of his and old Dick Grayson too.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was very prominent in the Batman animated series as Robin, so he was very special for me. And then made his way into Red Robin, which was an interesting character. But like you said, when you get that respect from Ra's al Ghul, like being noted the detective, you got some mad discovery skills. So I loved him, and that moves us on to number 4, which is the son of Batman himself, Damian Wayne. I think this really caused a stir when people found out that Batman, Bruce Wayne himself, had a son with none other than Talia al Ghul. This kid was raised by Ra's al Ghul, his grandfather. He was raised with the League of Assassins and Shadows. And, he was born to destruct. He was born to lead. He got all these prime examples of what it is to be a leader and a warrior. And then here comes Talia to Bruce Wayne in Gotham and tells him he has a son, and Bruce is like, what? He was as shocked as all over. And so he moves and takes Damian under his wing, tries to show him the right way. Justice over vengeance, I think, is a big quote they say a lot, and it's been used quite a bit with Damian. At first, he really is flirting with the dark. I mean, this guy, he tries to live up to his father a little bit, but he keeps kind of getting Ra's and characters like Deathstroke and Talon kind of pulling him back to the dark. But as we've seen him evolve here over the last couple of years, most notably in Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, which is a movie, but we've seen him grow up into quite the character himself. I mean, he's got a relationship with Raven from the Titans. He really is starting to turn more and more into his dad. He's learned the rights and wrongs and has really shown mastery in not just the tactics, but the fighting skills, the leadership qualities, the stoic nature of kind of brooding stoic personality that his dad has. And then on top of it, still have more of that darker edge because of his childhood. But he came as an infant. He was actually debuted technically in 1987, but he wasn't actually Robin until Batman 366, which also 2006, Batman number 655. And in Batman 666, actually took up the mantle of Batman in a brief time. So we've seen him grow up. We've seen him do all these iterations. And he's a really fascinating one. He's usually who is portrayed as Robin, I think, more or less these days. Yeah. And I love seeing him. I love seeing him interact with Superboy. I love seeing him interact with Batman. And he's really cool. So that is the fourth and final Robin to date.
Yes, it is. Yes, he is. Man, I know you're a huge fan of Damian Wayne. Yes. I have grown to like him. Yes. Much more than I did when he very first was introduced. But what the biggest thorn on my side with Damian is that they kind of kind of outplaced him. You know what I mean? He does it. I mean, as you mentioned, and I neglected to say this, he was almost kind of bumped from being, Tim Drake was bumped from being Robin and became Red Robin back in like August 2009. I neglected to say that earlier. And so he's been displaced. They're showing him a lot more in the newer animated films that they did. They didn't even have reference. There was no Tim Drake at all. It was from Dick to Damian. Yeah, you know what I mean? Dick, even skip Jason. Yeah, I mean, I skipped both of those guys. Yeah. So that's I do like David, though. He is he's badass.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he totally is.
So I think it's fun to go over a couple of things. So I think first, let's just do your personal ranking of these four amazing characters. There's obviously really no wrong answer. They're all four just fantastic.
There's a wrong answer.
Okay, well. Okay, well, let's get the right answer then. I guess for you, and then I'll give you the correct answer on my end.
All right, man. If I actually had to list my Robins from favorite to least, it would be starting with Dick Grayson's my very first. He's my best. He's one I know and love. Followed by Tim Drake, and then we have Jason Todd. Last,
so pretty much in order,
but certainly not least. Yeah, almost in order, but swapping Tim and Jason. Yeah, you know what I mean. But those are my personal favorites right there.
Yeah. And for me, not on a favorite level, maybe not the best in order, but my favorites, same Dick Grayson, the original himself. I mean, he'll always be. I mean, Robin to me and a lot of other people. Second. Very close between 2 and 3. 2 for me is actually Damian now. That's actually flip-flopped over the last probably 2 months. After the Apocalypse War, it kind of won me over. So Damian is 2, Tim is 3, but also I almost want to say 2B. And then Jason for me is 4th. He's a cool character, but just not quite my cup of tea compared to the other ones.
Wow.
But yeah, so those are my favorite. I think that leads to the 2 biggest questions, which are, in your opinion, who is the absolute best Robin as the character of Robin? And then in a world where obviously Bruce Wayne has to age at some point and, the mantle has to be passed, who would you say is the person that would make the best Batman of the 4?
So you're saying who is the best Robin?
First, we'll do the best. Who's the absolute best Robin who's been the best Boy Wonder?
Ooh, I might go with Tim Drake. I really might go with Tim Drake on that one. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I think he is the best Robin because he's maybe not the best fighter as the rest of them are. You know what I mean? As I mentioned before, he's got to have that bow staff, but he makes up for it in so many other ways with his detective skills.
Yeah.
You know, the way he's a master of computers and technology.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So those really kind of elevate him a little bit more in my opinion.
He's also, I think, the best Robin. My vote would actually be for Tim also, not just the detective skill, to kind of add to it and stuff like that. I think that the other ones, even Dick Grayson and Damian and Jason, they give Batman a lot of pushback. Like, you know, there's at times where Dick and Batman are basically just like they're not even speaking to each other. And there's times where Damian has pushback. Tim understands how important a Robin is to Batman. He understands, and he said Batman needs a Robin, and he understands that his personality fits, I think, the best with Bruce, where they gel the best. So not just in far as the skills, but the actual just mesh between the two, I think, would make Tim the best Robin of the four. But that does not make you the Batman. So say, you know, in a perfect world, you know, down the line, you get the call. You are Bruce Wayne, Batman. You're done. You have to hang up the cape, and you can only pass down the cow to one of these guys. Who do you think would make the best Batman?
Well, not all of them. Damian hasn't. They've all, for the most part, carried that mantle at some point.
They've all four.
You know what I mean? All four have definitely done that. I think the best fit, again, I am going to go with Tim Drake. In my opinion, I think that he, you know, Robin or Dick Grayson, you know, he's his own hero now. So I don't know if he needs to actually. I mean, Nightwing is really his own thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well respected in the hero community, not looked at as a psychic in any way, form, or fashion. Has been doing that for a number of years. And then Jason and Todd and Damian, you know, they've got their own thing going. But I really do think it is Tim Drake who is the best Batman. For all the reasons I named as to why he's the best Robin.
I got you. So for me, it's hard because for a while, I mean, for me, this is another one that's kind of changed. For a while, I would have said Dick would have been the best Batman just because he understands. And even though he hates being Batman, he does not want that mantle whatsoever. No. You know, when he has taken it up, he's done a great job because he understands Bruce probably better than anybody. That being said, Tim also would be a good Batman, the detective skills, but he doesn't, to me, embody what Batman is on all the levels. There's only one person that does that, and it's actually Damian. I think it's actually the blood of Bruce Wayne, more so because of the brooding fear factor that he gives people that I think none of the other four give. He understands that part of the Batman mythic, you know, thing of he's more of this symbol of fear and vengeance, and Damian is that. Like, he's crazy. I mean, yes, Tim has a detective feel, and I would say Damian's probably pretty close as far as the detective skills. I would give Tim the edge, but he's a good enough detective to pick up. But then when it comes to, like, you know, just look at Damian, the way he handles Superman and Justice League Dark. It's like, dude. And he's also the one thing I can appreciate. This is what actually pushed him over the edge. We've seen him make the sacrifice move, which I think is the big Batman's quality, even though he's never really died, but he's always willing to end his life if it means saving somebody else, which I think all four, at the end of the day, maybe not Jason, but 3 of the 4 definitely would. But I think Damian would actually do that, you know, at the end of the day, even though he's a brute, you know, his heart's in the right place. So he, to me, would be the best Batman. I would actually like to see him as Batman and Tim as Robin. I would like to see that dynamic. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, but I guess, you know, there's no wrong answer. These 4 are amazing characters. You know, I've enjoyed all 4 of them in some form of capacity. Some I've liked better as their post-Robin character. Like, I like Red Hood better than I like Jason Todd Robin. You know, I like Dick Grayson. I actually like Nightwing actually more than when he was Robin. Like, Nightwing's such a cool character. So it's cool to see them kind of clump together and do some action together now in the comics, which is really, really interesting. And hopefully we'll see a lot more as time goes. But what do you guys think? Who is your favorite Robin? Who do you think is the best Robin? We would love to hear your thoughts. So please leave a comment, and while you're at it, please hit that subscribe button while you're at it. We'd like to say a big thank you to our sponsors, Nomadic State of Mind, for this episode. You can check out their amazing beachwear and flip-flops, and you can rock them comfortably while you're reading a comic or watching these amazing Robins on the screen. So shout out to them, and as always, check out our website, www.comiccollectorsguild.com. We are really excited to be bringing some more content here soon. We have some interviews coming up, some room tours with some awesome guys. So stay tuned for that. And Lee, it is really cool to talk Robin with you. I know we've been wanting to do this for a long time.
We most certainly have, man. I enjoyed every minute of it, my friend.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate your time, and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, keep hunting, everybody. I think that's going to be important. Solo origin a little